Hello and welcome back. In this short tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can create this nice looking ice portal particle effect. So let's start by creating a new scene. Once we create the new scene, we're going to create a new 3D scene. Let's change the name to ice portal effect. And let's save it. So Control S to save. Okay, so next I'm going to add a GPU particle node like that. Let's go to process material. We're going to create a new particle process material. Go to draw passes and let's add a new quad mesh. I'm going to set the amount to around 6. Now let's go to our particle process material. Let's go to the emission shape and set it to a ring. Set the ring height to 0 and the ring inner radius to 0.99. Go to the direction and set it to 0 on the X. Now let's cancel the gravity, so 0. In the particle flags, we need to set the particle flag disable Z. And once we do that, we actually have a new option that is called orbit velocity. And I'm going to set it to around 0.2. So this is going to start giving us the portal effect. So now let's close the particle process material. Go to the pass 1. And we need to create a new material, so new standard material. And for now, we're just going to go to transparency, change it to alpha, and change the alpha color of the albedo. Something like that. Now I'm going to add another GPU particle. So Control A, GPU particle 3D. I'm going to stop emitting it and set the amount to around 200. Let's set a new process material and set the pass 1 to a new quad mesh. Let's go back to our GPU particle 3D, the first one. Go up. And we need to set our sub-emitter to the GPU particle 3D 2. Now let's go to our process material. Go down. And we need to go to the sub-emitter. Go to mode and we're going to change it to constant. We're not going to keep the velocity, but we are going to change the frequency from 4 to 2. That. Now let's go to our GPU particle, the second one. Let's go to the process material, go to gravity, and set it to 0. Let's go to the angular velocity, and I'm going to set it to around 50. So after that, I'm going to go to the angle, and I'm going to set it to minus 360 degrees, and 360. Next, let's go to the scale and we're going to set the minimum size to 0.5. Now let's go to color. Let's create a new color ramp, a new gradient texture. I'm going to set the start and ending points to 0 on the alpha, like that. And let's add a few colors. So something like that. Okay, so these are the colors. Just make sure that you set the starting point and the ending point to 0 on the alpha. Now let's go to the pass 1 and we need to create a new material. So new standard material. I'm going to set the size to 0.5 and 0.5. Let's go to the material, go to transparency and set it to alpha and add. We're going to set the vertex color to use albedo. Go to the albedo option. Now let's go to our images folder. And I'm going to select the Spark 1 texture. Like that. And let's do the same thing for the emission. Let's change it to multiply. Go to emission. Let's set it to a more blue color like that. Or you can use the option that I'm going to paste here like that. So this one. I'm going to multiply the energy by 4. Now let's go to billboard. I'm going to set it to particle billboard. Now for now, let's disable the first GPU particle. So let's go to the pass and material. and make sure that the alpha is 0. That. Let's go back to our second particle. Go to the material. Click on keep scale. So it's going to use the scale that we are going to give it through here. Okay, so now let's go back to our first particle. And I made a mistake. We need to change it to 20, not 2, like that. So change the frequency to 20. And we need to keep the velocity. So let's go back to our second particle. Let's go down. And I'm going to create 2 more passes. I'm going to change it to around 3. I'm going to copy the first pass to the second and third one. Let's click on them and I'm going to make them unique, like that. And inside of them, I'm going to make the material unique too. So now let's go inside of the material. Let's go to albedo animation. And I'm going to change the texture to spark 2, like that. Now let's go to pass 3. Go to the material. And for that, I'm going to change the albedo animation to the crystal 1 image. Now let's go back to pass 1. Now inside of the emission color, I'm going to change it to this one. I'm going to change the energy to 3.5. And I forgot to set the texture to MSDF. This is going to get rid of the black color. So let's set it. Let's do the same thing for the other materials. So let's go back. Go to pass 2, material, set it to texture MSDF. Same thing for the first one. And let's save it for now. Another thing that I'm going to do is set the alpha to a low number, something like that. Do the same thing for the other materials. And it should look something like that. And for the third pass, I'm going to change the size to around 1. So something like that. And what we also need to do is set the scale curve. So let's go and create a new one. So new curve texture. Let's go inside of it. And I'm going to set it to 0 to 1. So something like that. Now that we've finished with it, I'm going to create another GPU particle. It's going to be the same one as that. So just click on Ctrl D to duplicate. Go to the process material and draw passes. And I'm going to set it to make unique. Do the same thing for the passes. So go to pass 1, make unique. I'm just going to use the first one. So let's change the number of passes to 1. Inside of it, I'm going to set the material to unique. Go to material. Let's go to albedo, animation. And I'm going to give it the texture of the ice crystal too. Now to make sure that we can see them, I'm going to go back to our second particle. Go up to the sub-emitter. Set it to constant. And change the frequency to 2. Now let's go to the particle. Go to the material. Let's change the alpha to white. I'm going to change the color. So this one. And set the emission to 0.8. Now let's go back to our second particle. And we need to connect the sub-emitter of the third particle. So click on OK. And right now we can see the particle effect of the third particle. And we need to change a few values of it. So let's go back to our third one. Let's go to our process material. And I'm going to change the scale to 0.1 to 0.2. I'm going to give it a little bit of gravity. So 0.5 should be okay. Now let's make sure to disable the Z-axis. And just to make sure I can see it clearly, I'm going to add a new camera node. Let's move it a little bit back. Click on preview. So let's go back to our third particle. And that should be the end result. I'm just going to set the world environment to the same one that I showed you at the start. So I just moved the file and I'm just going to move it inside of that. And that should be the end result of your ice portal effect. So that's it for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed. and I see you all next time.